It is time to look at our tale of the tape, brought to you by Miller Lite. Taste you can depend on. Age pretty much the same. Height dead same. Weight, everything you're looking at in front of you, weight and reach pretty much even. The big storyline, as we just hit on, is Daryl recovered from the injury? Will that take effect? Will the background in the training of Eddie Hoch be able to overcome and get the victory over Daryl Flores? All those questions and much more will be answered as we head back inside the cage right now with cage announcer Britt Salbert.
Our co-main event of the night is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the catchweight bout in Front Street Fights, 165 pounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner with a record of 11 wins against just 5 defeats, standing in at 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in 163 pounds, fighting out of Sacramento, California, representing Team Alpha Male. Welcome, Eddie Hoch! His opponent, across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Coming into tonight's co-main event with a record of 7 wins against 6 defeats. Also standing in at 5 feet 9 inches, weighing in at 164 pounds, fighting out of Boise, Idaho! Representing SPG, Idaho! It is Daryl La Fiesta Flores! Our referee when the action begins is Nasty Nate Decker.
The 7-6 record of Daryl Flores is on the line against 11-5 Eddie Hoch. The training, the experience, the injuries, will they all come into play? We find out as Nate Decker signifies we are underway. Round number 1 of our co-main event of the evening. Both men trading outside kicks to start the fight. A lot of patience being displayed by both men right now. Eddie Hoch laser focused on the face of Flores, maybe knowing he has that injury. A left and a right attempt, good block by Hoch. Another outside kick going in for the left is Flores. Virtually the same. Flores going for that background of wrestling, but ends up falling down into a takedown of Hoch.
Yeah, that was well timed, really, especially a great way to counter on Daryl's entry there. He got his double underhooks. That was how he dragged him down so easy like that.
Now what you're seeing again, we saw it at the very top of the fight, patience being displayed by both men. Hoch really slowing the pace down right now.
Yeah, Hoch's doing a good job with the connection. Connection is so important in this position. Now he's going to look to really bring Daryl's posture down and get a leg inside and probably go to his back. If not, secure another takedown and work from there.
Using the leg to get Hoch down, but now Flores capitalizes. He gets top position. Hoch able to flip him back over. Very interesting exchange, what we just saw right there.
What a grappling exchange. Just an unexpected reversal twice in a row. That nice takedown into the roll there.
Yeah, that was very impressive, really. To roll him over from being full mounted like that, you know, Hoch is very strong.
Minute 15 into round number 1 between Hoch and Flores. A lot of patience. We've seen the pace of this fight. A lot of quick explosions, furies, whether it's attempted takedowns, whether it's punches, outside kicks. But both men, once those flurries come out, doing a really good job of kind of resetting and slowing their pace. What is that doing? You get those flurries and then you slow things down.
It really wears on the gas tank a little bit because those flurries are there because of a lot of it's nervous energy. That's why they're patient on the outside and then they clash and then break again and they're patient and then they clash. There's just a lot of energy being exchanged in those clashes.
You hear some boos setting up from the crowd, obviously probably wanting referee Nate Decker to stand these two up, but a lot of people don't see what's going on right now, trying to figure each other out. You can see the hands moving around. Flores trying to get in there to break up the hold as the crowd starts coming in for Daryl, the Fiesta Flores. What are you seeing happening right now with these two gentlemen?
What Hoch was doing really well there was he had that bottom wrist trapped. He's lost it now, but I think he needs to get back to that because that eliminated a lot of Darrell's base. He wasn't allowed to build back up because of that. Kept good hip pressure. That was a great position.
Hoch displaying a lot of body control over Flores right now. What are you telling both gentlemen from the corner position?
I'm telling Eddie Hoch to improve position. He's doing a good job keeping Darrell down, but the reason why this is such a stalemate right now is that Eddie's not securing a pass.
Flores able to get back up, and Hoch again staying right on top of him, keeping him pressed against the cage. Who is expending more energy right now? Is it more taxing to be? Oh, good reversal, a takedown by Flores. Able to get the leg sweep.
There's that black belt judo. That was great.
Seemingly out of nowhere. I was about to ask you, who's it more taxing to, being pressed against the cage or doing the one like holding him back? But obviously, Darrell got a lot in the gas tank left as this fight has been completely reversed. Flores has him locked up, getting in a couple of rights. He's got him all tangled up, keeping that control on there, not letting it go. Has the left arm of Hoch locked in tight. Oh, double leg takedown by Hoch.
That was very impressive. Hoch did a good job staying calm there, making sure he got his own arms back wrapped around Darrell's legs. That's how he got that takedown.
And again, we're back to what we saw just about a minute ago as we enter this final round of round number one. Both men down, kind of slowing down the pace, figuring each other out. Hoch has an arm around the back, an arm under the legs. Flores doing a good job keeping his arm under Hoch's to take that away from him, sneaking in the rights when he can.
I'm giving Eddie the same response I would have earlier. We've got to advance position. Pinning him down is not going to be enough in a match like this. We've got to pass. We've got to look to get to the back. And right now we're once again in this stalemate position. Eddie got a great takedown. Now we need to work off of it. Improve position. Go for something. He could pull that foot out from bottom and get another takedown if he looks to.
You're winning this position.
10 seconds left in round number one. Both men seem to be content to let this final 10 seconds just kind of run out here, take that break, and get into round number two. Very exciting first round that we saw from both gentlemen.
Yeah, definitely great first round. It's interesting. You were talking earlier about who was expending more energy. It's dead even a lot of times. There's a spurt to get up. There's a spurt to reestablish that position there. It's going to be interesting to see who can maintain this and kind of not let that wear on their gas tank too much going forward.
As we're taking a look at the Project Filter replay, a lot of cat and mouse, almost an anything you can do, I can do better. A lot of reversals, a lot of takedowns. Kind of both men a little tit for tat, like anything you can do, I can also do. Watch this.
Yeah, absolutely. They traded takedowns. I lost track of who won the takedown battle in that match. There were so many, along with the reversals. It was a really, really good round by both of these guys. But what we need to strategize for both of these guys is it's great to get takedowns, but now we need to secure that control. We need to go for the pins. We need to advance that position and really dominate off of that.
If you could pick an edge going into round number two, does anybody have an edge, or are we still pretty dead even in this fight?
I'd say maybe a confidence edge leaning towards Hoch, just because he did hold Darrell. Whether or not what he did with it was effective, he held him down a little more than Darrell was up.
The cage door is closed. Referee Nate Decker gives the signal. We are underway in round number two. This is our co-main event of Front Street Fights 25, presented by ProjectFilter.org. Much like the first, good exchange of hands there. Much like we saw in the first 60 seconds of the first round, a little bit of a slow pace. Oh, looks like potentially an injury there to Darrell, went in for that left jab. Seemed to collapse a little bit. Hoch doing a good job of capitalizing on that, but also at this point, Darrell doing a good job fending off that flurry from Hoch.
Yeah, that was interesting. I couldn't tell I don't know if he hurt his hand when he threw the punch or tweaked his knee from the way he twisted going in. I don't know. That was very interesting.
Obviously, you're in the middle of a fight right now. It's kind of hard. You probably know in your body what doesn't feel right. Something like, are you a little freaked out right now? How do you control yourself? What are you doing if you're in the cage right now and you think you may have just sustained an injury?
If it's me, there's a task on hand. We're on a mission. Regardless of what's going on, we got to find a way to work around it, work through it, and still come out on top.
Hoch exploring the left leg of Flores with that kick. Potentially, maybe that's where the injury came from, and it looks like it did. Maybe something in the knee. Hoch knows that. He's going there. Takes another one. A right left after a leg kick from Flores. Regardless of the injury, Flores still in there fighting, not showing any quit.
Beautiful combination, and we really see a different result now. At first, Daryl was eating the punches, and he had to close the distance and get together.
Good takedown by Daryl.
If I'm Daryl's corner, I'm screaming, we need to not go for those Hail Mary submissions. We need to establish control. We need to pin our opponent down. He's doing the right things now by doing that.
2 minutes into round number 2, the big story developing within the last 90 seconds. Potential leg injury to Flores, obviously we don't know. Does not seem to be affecting him at all right now.
Yeah, right now he's in a good position. What he needs to focus on is doing damage, making sure this guy pays for the position that he's in.
How crucial is it when you've basically got the cross hold on him right now to do everything you can to literally win this fight right now?
That crucifix is big. I mean, Hoch really can't do much right here. If he can really establish this crucifix, he can start landing some good elbows and really do some significant damage that can really lead his way for the rest of the fight.
Daryl's doing a good job. He just secured that arm with his leg. That's going to take a weapon away both offensively and defensively from Hoch. Now he's raining down those punches. Daryl's doing a great job controlling the hands.
The hometown crowd getting behind the Fiesta. He's got the crucifix, the back position, the rights coming in. Is this going to be where the fight is stopped? Is Hoch going to be able to get out of this? Is he going to show referee Nate Decker something to let this fight continue? So far, that answer is yes. Those hammer fists coming hard from the Fiesta. Hoch showing a little sign of life right now, able to get back up to one leg, so yes, the fight will continue.
He did a great job freeing his hands. Eddie Hoch, he's just freeing that one hand. That's enough to keep him in the fight. That's enough to tell the ref, I'm still in this. I still got this. I'm not pinned. I'm not stuck. I'm going to work my way out of this. Give me a little room to work.
90 seconds left in round number 2. Flores all control over these last couple of minutes.
90 seconds is a lifetime in this position as well, so Hoch's really got to do something because he's just going to keep eating these punches. It's going to wear on him. It's going to show in the next round. He's really got to get out of this.
He's got that crucifix locked in from the back position. Those rights are coming in hard again. How much more of this can Hoch survive? The hometown crowd starting to come alive for Daryl the Fiesta Flores. Is this going to be it? Is Hoch going to show anything to referee Nate Decker to let this fight continue? 1 minute left in round number 2. Can Flores finish off the fight right here, or is Hoch going to get to the much-needed break that he needs right now? Flores doing a good job stretching him out even more, taking more of that control away from Hoch, pressing down on the neck.
If I'm Daryl, I'm getting nothing but more confident. I know that I'm securing the right things to really dominate this position, and I know the referee's really tight on this, watching for me to finish this guy. I'm using every punch I can. I'm securing hands. I'm taking weapons away. I want to show the referee this guy cannot stand
everything
anymore
you're saying he is doing. Hoch's corner yelling into referee Nate Decker. Nate Decker yelling right back to him.
I think they're trying to say those are to the back of the head. But
10
right
seconds left in round number 1. Of course, words will be exchanged. If we get to the end of this round, it looks like we are going to get there when all hope seemingly was lost by Hoch. Flores able to keep that control on. And again, you kind of touched it on. We saw it there. Hoch's corner kind of yelling into referee Nate Decker. Nate Decker having some words back. What do you think was being said there between the two?
The commission tells us before the fight, there's 2 inches on the back of the skull from the base of the neck to the top of the head where it's illegal to hit. I think his corner was trying to say that he was hitting the back of the head. It looked like he was getting right behind the ears. So
as we go to the Project Filter replay, you can see there it was that wobble by Flores. Were you concerned? Was it the knee? Something injured the kick by Hoch there. Obviously aggravated whatever is going on with Flores' knee. So definitely don't want to shy away from that. But again, it was that takedown right there you saw by Flores, and it was from there to the end of the round that Daryl had all of the control.
Absolutely, and if I'm Daryl's corner, I'm telling him, let's go back to that judo. Those throws work. Clearly, Eddie is ready for some wrestling, but he's not. He's susceptible to those throws in that judo, and that worked very well for Daryl. Let's close the distance. Let's keep the hands up. Let's watch for those leg kicks, but as soon as we set up a shot, let's keep the hands going. Let's get inside. Let's get to those hips and put it down.
All right, we're about ready to start our 3rd and final round of our co-main event. We are underway. It is Daryl the Fiesta Flores against Eddie Hoch. That knee still bothering Flores. So knowing that your knee's a little weak, your base is a little weak, what are you doing right now, Vince?
Trying to get in there and tie it up a little bit.
Both men seem to be throwing hands. Oh, Flores eats a right and a left.
He threw some good stuff too.
He seems to be rocked. He throws her right back to Hoch. Both men just willing to stand up and trade blows at this point. Flores is rocked. Hoch misses the takedown there.
He dove on that guillotine way too early.
Get up, right away, get up.
Now, we saw something very interesting right there. Obviously, the left knee of Flores still very weak. Hoch able to rock him with a couple of good rights and lefts. Flores able to come back and knock Hoch with a couple of rights and lefts. Again, just when you think one opponent has an advantage, it seems to be back to almost 50-50.
Absolutely. What an exchange back and forth with those guys, as you mentioned. Daryl did a great job keeping his composure. It's easy to get rattled. It's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to think that you're out of this fight. Daryl still has that dog in him.
Hoch able to gain position on Flores. Of course, Flores relying heavily on his judo background.
Yeah, Daryl's really got to build up his base and try to reverse his position right now. He was in a good spot. He's in a good spot from where the fight was, so he's really got to do something to change this.
Of course, a lot of your power in MMA, whether it's with judo, whether it's wrestling, obviously kicks, anything with punches, a lot of your power and your base comes from your legs, knowing you have a weakened leg. Again, you know, we don't want to speculate on what injury he may or may not have, but it's very obvious that his left knee, his left leg is bothering him. How do you have to adjust on the fly? Again, you said we have one goal right now, but knowing your base is a little weakened, how do you change this?
It's very frustrating because, like you were saying, all of our power is generated from the ground up. If you're not stable on the ground because of your leg, it's hard to generate some power. It's a difficult task. It's not impossible. You just got to find a way to reverse this position, get on top, and get back to doing damage like he ended that last round with.
Hoch with back position on Flores right now, has the arms wrapped around the upper body. Now, Flores in his corner right now. What are you telling your fighter right now?
What I'm telling Eddie is once again, we've got to take advantage of this position. He did a good job pinning him down, but that's not going to be enough. The difference is that's a very similar position as to what Daryl had on
back
him in
up
the
to his
last
feet,
round.
eats a knee from Hoch, gets a couple of rights. Both men up to their base.
Daryl's going to be looking for that throw here in a second.
Eddie's going back to that trip.
Both men have been successful with the takedowns. A little bit of a fall by both. A left from Hoch, a couple of uppercuts from Flores. Subtle but effective as we enter the final 2 minutes of our co-main event here at Front Street Fight 25, presented by Project Filter. Hoch able to get Flores back down to the ground and get back position.
That's the adjustment he needed really from that throw. He stepped out, he let him fall through, and took us back there.
Round number one, pretty even for both men. No question Flores had the advantage in round number two. So far in round number three, the edge would probably be going to Hoch. We are in the final 90 seconds. What do you need to see from both fighters?
What I need to see from Eddie is some attempt to finish. Again, he's got good control, but there's really no advantageous offense from him at all. There's no striking. There's no attempts for submissions. We've got to get a finish here. I'm not confident that my fighters won enough of this to take a decision, so we've got to secure that finish, or at least leave it in the minds of the judges that we're looking to get that finish.
60 seconds left in our third and final round of our co-main event. Flores looking for some sort of arm hold. Hoch seemingly content to really just, I don't want to say lay on Flores, but really put his weight and advantage, his body on top of Flores, and really seems to be making Flores work for everything right now.
But like what was just said, we need some damage established. He's got to be doing something big here. Definitely after that second round, that could have been a 10-8 round. He was getting beat up pretty bad for the last 2 minutes of that.
30 seconds left.
He needs something big still.
Are we going to see an explosive finish from either of these gentlemen? Has Hoch done enough in this third and final round to bring home the victory? Or is Daryl the Fiesta Flores going to get the victory? We are going into our final 10 seconds. This one seemingly will be going to the judges. And there it is. Our co-main event of the evening is wrapped up. This one will be going to the judges' scorecard. Of course, Eddie Hoch showing the confidence that he came away with the victory Man, I got to tell you guys, it's very hard to predict who. You don't know what the judges are thinking. It's really hard to predict. Of course, we were talking about round number 1, very even between both men as we go to the Project Filter replay. You can see Daryl kind of wincing in pain, that is, from that left leg injury, whatever it may be. But again, round number 1, pretty split between both men. Both had some key moments. Round number 2, the advantage. There was that missed takedown there by Hoch. And again, Hoch seems confident. Daryl seems really kind of unsure what to say right there. But again, round number 2 definitely went to Daryl. Round number 3, seemingly, from the naked eye, goes to Hoch. So now, how do either one of you see this one coming out real quickly?
It kind of comes down to that first round. I don't know. Or that second round. Could be a draw.
There's 2 critical scoring elements to this. There's round 1, which one got the more takedowns, which one exhibited more control, but the second round is key too. As Vince said, that could be a 10-8 round in the mind of some of these judges.
Of course, it is always hard to predict what the judges saw from that. Every judge obviously sitting around the cage, not next to each other. And you got to wonder, as a judge's decision takes a little bit longer, the more time goes by. Vince, you're sitting there, you've had some rounds go, or some fights go to a judge's decision. What's going through your mind right there? You know, sometimes you know a fight, like maybe the other guy had control most of the time, and you kind of have a feeling it's going to go his way. But again, this one seemed very 50-50. Yeah. As a fighter, what's going through your mind while you're waiting for that scorecard to come back in?
I'm going through my checklist. I'm making sure, okay, did I do enough damage here? Did I have enough time on top here? Was I controlling the cage here? Just going through my checklist. For me, I'm always thinking, if I'm going to the judges, that I did enough to win it somewhere. So I'm just making that case for myself at this point.
Well, we talked about the injury that Daryl had sustained in his last fight against Flores, that broken orbital bone. That seemed to not play a factor, but now you kind of got to wonder. We saw it several times tonight. Of course. The left leg was very weakened. Is it just sore? We don't really know. So obviously the orbital bone, fine. But now going forward, what's your concern about a potential new injury?
You know, my concern is definitely going to be that knee. Luckily, Daryl's standing on it fine. He's moving on it fine. And a sign for me as a coach and cornerman, he's not shaking anything out. He's not rubbing anything. He's not giving me any indication that there's any sort of damage. However, I'm still going to monitor that, especially as things cool down. When that body cools down, then we know what's injured, and we can really feel it. It can really stand out. But
you saw it a couple times on the replay right there. As soon as he planted, the knee kind of buckled. So, well, we're going to find out what was a fairly even fight. In our eyes has come down to the judges. How did the judges see it? We are going to find out right now as we go back inside the cage with cage announcer Britt Talbert.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the judges' scorecard, how about a round of applause for both these warriors in our co-main event tonight? Eddie Hoch for coming up from Sacramento. We're good to have him here. We will go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Mike Michelson scores about 29-28, Hoch. Judge Aaron Welling scores the fight 30-27, Flores. Our third and final judge, Tim Turner, scores this bout 28-28. We have a split draw in our co-main event.
The crowd not happy with that. I believe for the first time in the history of Front Street fights, a split draw. Obviously, a lot of frustration displayed there by Eddie Hoch, and frustration by Daryl Flores. Again, to my knowledge, the first time in the history of Front Street fights, we have had a split draw. Very rare in the MMA world. Really quick, do either of you agree with that?
30-27, I don't agree with. Whoever judged that, I want to talk to you. But I did think it was kind of a draw. I'm okay with the draw.
I agree with Vince. I think the 30-27 is unreasonable, but the draw was a predictable outcome. We talked about that 10-8 round being a real difference maker in the scoring. One judge clearly saw that as a 10-8 round. The other two saw something a little bit different.